Hello everybody, it's Sandra. I hope that you are doing well today. And we just did a live on the Consultant Connection and we discovered that it actually didn't get posted. So I thought I would just redo it right here in case some of you had gone in to watch it and you didn't get to see it. So we were talking about mindset today, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what I want to share about that. So it was about 2 years ago that I actually found myself doing a training session on mindset. So I did my due diligence and I started reading books, and I ran across a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. She is an expert, and you will see many of her YouTube videos online. And that is when I had a brick fall on my head, and that's when I discovered that the intelligence test that I did in elementary school actually didn't define who I was. It was created just for us, for teachers to know where we were at that moment in our learning, so that so the teachers would know what needed to be applied and to develop ourselves from that point on. So that was like a mind blow for me, and I was like, are you kidding me? I thought that just meant that I wasn't smart because I wasn't at the top level back then. So that was an eye opener for me. So now I want to remind you, going into 2021, and the season, the year is coming to an end, and it's a fresh start, and that feels good. And so I just want to remind you that anytime we want to grow something, we need to measure it. When we measure something, now we have something to manage. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the thermometer and how and scaling, those two things. So I think of our scaling system from 1 to 10, 10 being the pee yourself excited, that place of oh my gosh, and then 1 is the opposite. And measuring everything you're doing in your life that you're trying to grow. And I like to liken it to a thermometer that we use in our medical cabinet for our children if we're going to check their temperature. And again, that's going to give us information. If they're too hot, then we know now we need to take steps to cooling them down. If they're too cool, then we know that we need to take steps to warm them up. So same thing. Hello, Janet and Deanna. So same thing, the thermometer, so the scaling from 1 to 10. So I want to use an example of that, and we're going to use the bookings as an example, and I'm going to use the information that I gathered from a coaching session. And so I want to ask you first, when you think of bookings and getting bookings, what do you associate with bookings? What beliefs do you have wrapped around and anchored onto the word booking? Are you thinking, well, I think bookings are hard to get. I think that only outgoing people get them. I think that I just don't have it. Start to think about, what do you have anchored to the booking term? And remember, as humans, we are always moving towards pleasure or avoiding pain. So if you have linked these negative anchors to the word booking, then it's going to all of a sudden make sense to you why when it comes time to do your callbacks, you might, for customer callbacks, you might find yourself rearranging closets, or something has come up and it needs your full attention, and you're going to find yourself week after week going, oh man, I haven't actually done any customer care. I haven't asked anybody if they want a booking. So that's an eye opener for us to, stop and think, okay, let's shift our beliefs. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through 2 quick exercises. One is, first of all, I want to say that when you think about your body language, that remember, your body is a servant to your thoughts, to your mind. So if your mind is saying bookings equals pain, then your body language is going to show up with the same energy. And that might look like, hunched over, not breathing deep. It might be like feeling nervous. It might be shallow breathing. So then when it comes time to ask someone for booking, you might be putting out a frequency that is similar to, say, someone about to get bit by a dog. Okay, so that means that you're actually going to get the same return energy, okay? So the other thing is, if you were to go to, say, Melissa Reynolds, who is a top seller in Canada, you might find that if if she was to talk about bookings, she might be like, oh my gosh, just do it. It's so much fun. And you might find that her breathing, her state, her shoulders, her verbiage, her facial expressions, you might find her to be like, oh my gosh, I feel like that's the same excitement level as a kid in the adventure park getting a free cotton candy. And then she's going to get the same in return, where you just want to line up to drink the same Kool-Aid she's drinking from, right? And so do you see the difference? Your body is a servant to your mind. So wherever your mind goes, your body's going to go with it. So let's do a quick little exercise and shift that thinking. So from 1 to 10, where would you put your excitement level, your motivation level about asking and getting bookings? So let's just use an example that I did recently. So they had said 1.5 was where they were at for confidence, excitement, motivation for getting bookings. So I said, okay, what needs to happen? And I want you to write your number down there. What number are you at for confidence from 1 to 10 for getting your bookings and feeling confident about it? So then I'm going to say to you, what needs to happen for you to get to a 2 or a 3? And then I would have you think about that. And the person who I was coaching said, well, I feel like it would raise my confidence level if I could model or view somebody else doing that, having a party, asking for bookings, showing the excitement all around it, who's already at a 10, somebody who's excelling at it, right? So go get them to do that, model behavior, watch them do, let them watch somebody who's already excelling at this. They come back and they're like, okay, that helped. I went from a 1.5 to a 3. I know it's possible. I see it. I feel it. So then I would say, great. Now what needs to happen to get you to a 4 or a 5? And they came back and said, well, I feel like if I'm going to be selling the idea of, having a party, it's going to be fun, your friends are going to thank you, it's going to be great, then maybe I need to go back and relook at my approach to doing my bookings and my parties, and I need to reevaluate what is fun and what isn't. Because if I think my party is kind of drab and just a bunch of videos, then maybe I don't think that is fun. So how could I sell that as being fun, right? You can only fake it so much. So then I have them go back and redo their party where they've made their videos, and on their videos they're saying, this is fun, this is amazing, you're gonna love this, your friends are gonna love this. Just had to change something there. And then it might be that you get yourself to a 5. So then I'll say, okay, what needs to happen for you to get you to a 7? And so then they said to me, well, I think I need to change my state of mind. I think that my body language is still in the place of doubt, fear, not a great energy, and that would affect the outcome of my delivery of asking, right? Changing the energy. So they said, okay, I need to change that. So I think I need to ask myself, what does it feel like to be at a 10? So a 10 might be, reading your kid books at night and being animated and fun and thinking it's the greatest thing, reading old childhood favorite stories. So then I might say, okay, so now compare it. What's different between your body, your state, when you're asking someone for a booking, and when you're really confident, excited, and happy about reading a book to your kids at night? That's a fun booking, right? Or that's a fun story, right? So then they shifted that. And now they're like, oh my gosh, I can feel it. And even before I went to do the training today, there was a mix-up. She gave me the wrong link. And so I was on a different Zoom call. It was after the time I was supposed to go on for 20 minutes. And I started to feel nervous and thought, have I done something wrong? I started doubting myself. So I went over to the mirror, and instead I quickly switched myself out of it and changed my state and started saying things like, oh my gosh, this training is going to be so much fun. I love this. I have so much to offer. This is going to be amazing. So I changed my shift. I shifted my thinking and immediately went back, and then she popped on, and then I was back into a high energy, friendly, happy state. Okay. That's what we can do. These are the tools we want to do, right? We want to apply. So then I said, okay, now you're at a 7. What might be left? What might be missing that you could apply that would get you into your peak state, a state where you feel like you've reached your maximum 10 and you are owning this? So then they came back and came up with a few different areas that they could practice and develop, okay? So now I want to remind you, wherever your focus goes, your energy goes. So, throughout your days, you might be saying things like, oh, I really should do those calls. Well, stop right there and give yourself 60 seconds to flip that switch. Go for a run up the stairs, go look in the mirror and say, I can do this. And you know what? Reality is that you may not have the bookings you want yet, but with a little bit of development, practice, modeling other behavior of people that are doing it, you'll get there. And so if you find yourself saying, oh, I can't, just remember to add the word yet. If you're saying things like, oh, this is hard, flip switch, get out of there and say, I can learn to make this easy. I can learn and develop myself so this is fun and exciting. And so, they say 80-90% of our thoughts are subconscious. So it means paying attention to those unnecessary, unwanted thinking patterns that have tainted the word booking and recruiting, etc. And just flip switch out of it. Change it immediately. Change your energy, your body state, run, jump up and down. You don't need to believe it, just do it. So the questions I want you to ask yourself, write these down. Number 1 is, know your outcome. What do you want in 2021? What do you want? Number 2, why is it so important that you achieve this? Okay, why is it so important that you achieve this? Number 3, take massive action. What action steps? I just walked through a whole bunch. As long as you're asking yourself, what is it going to take to get to the next level? What does that look like? What do I need? What's missing? Just add the word what, and you will walk yourself through this beautifully. So number 3 was write out your action steps. Number 4 is know what you're getting and know what it will look like when you get there. And the reason I say that is because some people will say, oh, I need more bookings. Well, that's not clear. And it might be that you get a few bookings and then you forget that you were going to go anywhere further with it because you've gone on to something else. So there was nothing concrete written in stone. So you want to make sure that you say, what am I after and what's it going to look like when I get there? So if you're saying, okay, I'm going to make sure that I get 10 hostesses a month. If you know that, then you need to, set yourself up. Maybe it's getting a chart where you can tick off or write the names of the hostesses every month so that you can say, boom, I did it. Where's my reward? I'm going to watch another episode of Crown. I don't know, whatever it is. Reward yourself. And then you go to the next month. Okay, boom, where am I at? I've decided I want 10 hostesses. Where am I at for those 10? How many more do I need to do? What do I need to do to get the remaining? Those kind of questions, okay? The last one, number 5, is change your approach if it's not working. So simple. If something isn't working, you don't say, well, it was nice knowing you. I guess I just don't have what it takes. See you later. No, you say, okay, what was working, what wasn't? What can I learn to move forward? And again, it might be go watch someone else. Go take this training. Go watch a webinar. Call 5 people a day. Maybe I'll put 5 bangles on one bracelet and say, when I talk to 5 people and practice that, then I will get really practiced by doing that 5 times a day. You decide. But I just want to finish off by saying, set a standard. Okay, commit to a standard today. And that is, ask yourself, what in my life am I so committed to that I have set a standard and I will never back down? I would never not do this, okay? So the fastest one I could come up with was, I have set a standard that I am not going to borrow anyone else's toothbrush. It's just a silly example, but I'm just making a point here. I'm going to set a standard that no matter what, if my toothbrush falls on the ground or it gets, or if something's on it and I'm grossed out, I will not use someone else's toothbrush. I would rather, okay, you get the point. I've decided that's a standard. I don't use other people's toothbrushes. End of story, okay? So I know what it's like to feel like a 10 committed where no matter what, it's not gonna happen, okay? And so I know what that feels like. It's a kicking, screaming, stubborn, No, that's my standard. I own it. So now apply that to your standard. The standard of no matter what, I am not ever going to stop trying until I reach my 10 bookings or my 10 hostesses every month. And I'm going to throw a couple more on there in case a couple cancel. And that is my standard. I am not going to back down, and I am going to stay with it like I stay with my other standards and commitments. End of story. And you have your rituals, which are your action steps on how to make that happen. So I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I'm very excited that you have joined to watch this little bit of training on shifting your mindset for the future of your business. And I hope that you will remember, in a summary, to make sure that you catch yourself if you're in a fixed mindset, believing that you are stuck in something that you didn't choose and putting a victim hat on, and instead pop yourself into growth mindset and say, not yet, and what do I need to do to get there, to develop myself? It's called neuroplasticity. Everybody can keep learning and developing themselves, okay? You know the old dog can't learn new tricks? That's not true. They've proven that wrong. Your brain, you think of it as a muscle, you keep growing it, you keep developing it, and you will get there. I'm learning piano at 52. If I can do that, anyone can do anything, okay? So remember that. Remember to scale it 1 to 10, okay? Where are you at? And what needs to happen so that you keep moving that up. Do not go on a phone call unless you're at that 8 to 10, okay? Go in front of the mirror, jump up and down, get yourself into that state. This is fun, I can do this. It's gonna be amazing. Jump up and down, clap your hands, get yourself in peak state. It changes so many different levels in your body. You have no idea. Trust me, it works. Prove me wrong if you don't believe me, okay? And then you're going to go through the 5 questions that I gave you. What do you want? Why is it important to you? Take massive action. Write out your steps. Know what that's going to look like when you get there, so you know when you have arrived. That'll help you get more clarity. Change your approach if it's not working. All right? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.